Can trauma give your life purpose? At first, that sounds like a strange question. Trauma is usually associated with pain, loss, suffering, and destruction. We think of trauma as something that breaks people, something that leaves scars, something that creates obstacles that must be overcome. But what if trauma does more than wound us? What if it also shapes us? What if some of the most meaningful purposes people discover emerge from the darkest chapters of their lives? This is the psychological journey of Trafalgar Law. On the surface, Law appears calm, intelligent, strategic, and emotionally controlled. He rarely reveals his feelings. He speaks with confidence. He carries himself with composure. He appears unaffected by the chaos around him. But beneath that calm exterior lies a story of profound loss, grief, anger, and transformation. Law's story is not simply about surviving trauma. It is about what happens after survival. Because surviving pain and creating meaning from pain are two very different things. Many people survive difficult experiences. Far fewer learn how to transform those experiences into purpose. That transformation is what makes Law's journey so powerful. One of the most important psychological truths about trauma is that trauma changes the way people see the world. After a painful event, the world no longer feels the same. Safety feels uncertain. Trust becomes difficult. The future feels unpredictable. The assumptions people once held begin to collapse. This is because trauma doesn't simply affect memories. It affects perception. It changes how people interpret reality. A person who has been betrayed may become suspicious. A person who has experienced loss may become fearful of attachment. A person who has experienced suffering may become hyper-aware of danger. These responses are not signs of weakness. They are survival adaptations. The brain learns from pain. Its primary goal is protection. If something hurt you before, your mind tries to prevent it from happening again. Law's early life forced him to experience pain on a level few people can imagine. He witnessed tragedy, loss, injustice, and suffering at an age when most children are still trying to understand the world. Experiences like these often create one of two paths. Some people become consumed by their pain. Others become driven by it. At first, Law seemed headed toward the first path. His anger became enormous. His grief became overwhelming. His desire for revenge consumed his thinking. And this reveals an important lesson. Unprocessed trauma often disguises itself as purpose. Many people believe they are pursuing a meaningful goal when they are actually pursuing unresolved pain. Revenge feels like purpose. Hatred feels like purpose. Obsession feels like purpose. But these motivations are fundamentally different from genuine meaning. Pain can create movement, but pain alone cannot create fulfillment. This distinction is critical, because many people spend years chasing goals rooted entirely in emotional wounds. They pursue success to prove people wrong. They pursue achievement to compensate for insecurity. They pursue recognition to heal feelings of inadequacy. From the outside, they appear motivated, but internally, they remain trapped. Law's journey teaches us that purpose born entirely from pain eventually becomes exhausting. At some point, healing becomes necessary. This leads to one of the most fascinating concepts in psychology: post-traumatic growth. Most people are familiar with post-traumatic stress. Fewer people know about post-traumatic growth. Post-traumatic growth refers to positive psychological changes that sometimes emerge after adversity. This does not mean trauma is good. It does not mean suffering is desirable. It means that human beings possess an extraordinary ability to create meaning from difficult experiences. Many people emerge from hardship with greater wisdom, greater empathy, greater resilience, greater appreciation for life, greater clarity about what truly matters. Law's development reflects this process beautifully. The pain never disappears. The losses remain real. The scars remain visible. But gradually, the trauma begins transforming. Instead of controlling him, it starts teaching him. This shift changes everything. The question is no longer, why did this happen to me? The question becomes, what will I do with what happened to me? This is one of the most empowering mindset shifts a person can make. Because the first question focuses on the past. The second focuses on the future. First seeks explanations. The second seeks possibilities. The first often leaves people stuck. The second creates movement. Law's character demonstrates another important psychological lesson. Emotional suppression is not emotional healing. Many people confuse these concepts. They believe that if they stop talking about pain, the pain disappears. If they stay busy enough, the wounds heal. If they appear strong enough, the suffering goes away. But buried emotions do not disappear. They simply move underground, like pressure building beneath the surface. Eventually, unresolved emotions influence behavior, whether we recognize it or not. They affect relationships, decision-making, self-worth, trust, motivation, everything. Law often appears emotionally detached, but emotional detachment is not always strength. Sometimes it is protection. Many people who appear strong are actually afraid of vulnerability. Many people who seem independent are actually afraid of disappointment. Many people who seem emotionally distant are actually protecting old wounds. Law's guarded nature reflects this reality. His emotional walls helped him survive. But survival and connection require different strategies. The walls that protect us from pain can also prevent us from experiencing love, friendship, and belonging. This is why healing often feels uncomfortable. Healing requires lowering defenses that once felt necessary. It requires trusting again, believing again, connecting again. And for wounded people, those actions can feel terrifying. Another important lesson from Law's story is the relationship between identity and suffering. Many people become so attached to their pain that it becomes part of who they are. They begin defining themselves through their wounds, through their failures, through their trauma, through their past. This is understandable. Pain can be powerful. But there is danger in making suffering your identity, because identities influence possibilities. If you see yourself only as a victim, growth becomes difficult. If you see yourself only as broken, healing feels impossible. If you see yourself only through the lens of past pain, you limit future potential. Law gradually learns that trauma is something he experienced, not something he is. This distinction changes lives. You are not your trauma. You are not your worst experience. You are not the pain you survived. Those events shaped you, but they do not define you. One of the reasons Law resonates with so many people is because he reflects a universal human struggle, the struggle to find meaning after loss. Every person eventually experiences disappointment, heartbreak, failure, grief. Some experience far more than others. The challenge is not avoiding suffering. The challenge is deciding what suffering will create within you. Will it create bitterness or wisdom? Will it create hatred or understanding? Will it create hopelessness or purpose? Law's story demonstrates that purpose is not found by escaping pain. Purpose is often found by transforming pain. Many of history's most impactful individuals use their struggles as fuel for growth. Not because suffering made them stronger automatically, but because they chose to learn from it. This is one of the most important principles in personal development. Pain is inevitable. Meaning is a choice. You cannot always choose what happens to you, but you can choose what happens within you. You can choose your response. You can choose your interpretation. You can choose your direction. This is where true power exists. Not in controlling every circumstance, but in controlling what those circumstances become. Law eventually reaches a point where his life is no longer driven solely by revenge. His purpose evolves. His vision expands. his identity grows. This is a sign of maturity. Immature purpose often revolves around proving something. Mature purpose revolves around becoming something. There is a profound difference. One is externally focused. The other is internally grounded. One depends on circumstances. The other depends on character. And character is ultimately what determines the quality of a life. Perhaps the greatest lesson Trafalgar Law teaches is that your deepest wounds do not have to become your deepest limitations. In fact, they can become the source of your greatest wisdom. The experiences that hurt you can teach you. The losses that broke you can strengthen you. The pain that nearly destroyed you can guide you toward meaning. Not because suffering is magical, but because human beings possess the remarkable ability to transform adversity into growth. And if there is one lesson Law leaves us with, it is this: your trauma may shape your story, but it does not have to write your ending. Because the most powerful thing about your past is not what happened to you. It is what you choose to become because of it.